It's December 29th, 2021. The story of Boba Fett just released on Disney Plus, which hopefully will be good. And it's my daughter's birthday. Also, I had the day off work for the holidays and decided I needed to implement old age in the fish, because as of now the fish could live forever if their energy level was high enough. If they could keep their energy level up, they could live forever. Not really completely realistic, so decided to add in some old age. So in the fish script on the start method, you'll notice these two lines right here. The first thing I'll notice is I added a global variable called max age seconds, and then another global variable called old age ratio. So right now I've got the old age ratio set to 80%. So let's say the max age of a fish was 100 seconds. And if this is set to 80%, then that means the fish is starting to get old at 80%. So at 80 seconds, the fish is starting to get old. And things happen once a fish hits old age. We'll talk about it as we go through here real quick. So the old age threshold then would be the ratio times the max seconds. So let's say the max seconds is 100 seconds. If the old age ratio is 0.8, then the old age threshold will be 80 seconds. So if the max age is 100 seconds, the fish will hit old age at 80 seconds. So what happens then, we'll talk about that here in a second. The old age slope is calculated using a few things here. Using the max age subtracted from the old age threshold. So we'll take 100 seconds minus 80 seconds. That would be 20. And the max old age energy increase, that's how much. So basically, I better back up for 1 second. The way I've implemented old age is I don't just kill the fish when they hit the max age in seconds, but instead what happens is once they get over the old age threshold, 80% of the max age, then the fish will start burning more energy just to stay alive. So this is part of that just living energy usage that I have. And right now it's set to whatever it is. So it doesn't affect the velocity at this point, but just the staying alive piece is affected by this. Once they get over 80, then that amount of energy they use just to stay alive every second gradually goes up as they get older and older and older. So as they approach the maximum age, the energy usage to stay alive will increase. Now, if they're able to keep eating to keep their energy up, then they could live past the maximum age. But every second they live past the maximum age, the amount of energy it takes to stay alive gradually increases. So they will eventually die from lack of energy, but that's because it's taking extra energy to keep them alive as they get so old. So that's what the old age slope is used to calculate. If they just hit the old age threshold, this is like 0 times the slope, so it's not much. But as that age over the old age threshold continues to get larger and larger, that number is multiplied by the old age slope, and it will increase the amount of energy used per second by the fish. So they're pretty much doomed, I'm afraid to say, to die at some point, though they could live past the max age. So to implement all that, I created an age method on the fish script, and that age method is going to get called by an invoke every seconds between age processing. So I can set that as a global variable. Right now it's set to 3 seconds. Every 3 seconds is going to hit this method. And at that point it's going to add to the age of the fish is here, age seconds. So age seconds is age seconds plus the amount of time that it has passed between the age processing. But I'm taking that number and I'm dividing it by the sim speed slower factor. So if we're running at full speed, which is very fast, then the slow factor will be 1. So it's every second equals a second of life for the fish. But if I slow the simulation down, then every second in the real world is less than a second for the fish. So when you slow down the time scale in the simulation, the fish will live longer, obviously. So once we increment the age seconds there, then we check to see if the age seconds is greater than the old age threshold. So if they've been alive, like we were talking before, this value is 80 seconds. So if the age in seconds is greater than 80, then we do some things. What do? We take the age energy increase scalar and we change it. This value is multiplied by the amount of energy used just to stay alive. So when the fish is below old age, this number right here is just 1, and we're just multiplying by 1, so it doesn't change anything. But then as we add to as this number gets bigger than 1, then we're using more energy than we were before per second of the fish's life. So we always have 1 in there. This guy right here will be 0. Right at the old age threshold. But then as the age of seconds goes beyond the old age threshold, let's say he's 100 years old, then 100 minus 80 gives us 20, and 20 times the old age slope gives us the amount of increase that's going to be added to that. So it's going to be 1.125 or whatever it's going to be. And it's going to keep going up every time this age in seconds gets incremented. We recalculate the energy scalar. It's going to take more energy off of that. So that's how I've implemented that. And the way the age script continues on is at the end of the age script, it just invokes itself to run again in the amount of time indicated here. That's how a lot of these these are methods that are not called every frame. They're called every few seconds, and that's how I've implemented those, by using these invoke. I was using invoke repeating and setting that. I found it was just as easy to invoke it this way. So I invoke it to begin with in the come to life script, or some come to life method, and then it keeps itself going by the invoke at the end of the method. Okay, we're going to test the age functionality here, and as I often do this, I'll set a single fish to be, or set my ecosystem to only have a single fish in it, so I can really watch that fish closely. So we've got that fish going here. Let me click on it to center it. Okay, when I have a fish selected, I use my ecosystem manager here to tell me what fish I've selected. Notice it says selected fish is 1. So that means I can go to the fish folder and find fish 1. That's helpful if I have more than one fish. I'm trying to figure out which fish I've selected so I can really look closely at it. So we look down here. Let me zoom in a little bit here. The fish I've selected, you'll notice the age in seconds is marked right here as being 9 seconds, 10 seconds. And notice if every 3 seconds is changing by about 1 second. If I do the time scale all the way up, then every 3 seconds it will increment this, and it will be by 3 seconds, you'll notice. But I want to slow it down here. Okay, so those things have started happening here. Max age is 20, so at I don't know, 16 seconds of age, it started changing the age increase scalar there. It was 1, now it's 1.6, and then it's going to be 1.875. 3 seconds later, got upped to that. It's just getting closer to the age of 20 seconds. The amount of energy is increasing. So this number is what we're multiplying, just the staying alive energy by required each second. So the age in seconds here is going to we're actually going to go over 20 seconds, obviously, but notice the scalar keeps going up and up and up. Let's take a look at the energy of this fish. I don't know what the initial energy was. I think it was set pretty high. Here we see the energy is right now set to 70 something, and it's still increasing as it eats plants, but when it's not eating, it's dropping by a faster amount all the time. See what our scalar is here. And it's getting confused now because what we're seeing here in the console are some of these baby fish also. But anyway, if we just watch our energy, we see it's dropping pretty drastically here, down to the 30s. So he's aging quickly. His age is actually 31 seconds at this point. So he's lived 20 seconds past the max age. And mainly that's because I set him with such a high energy level to start with, just to test this. But you can see now he's getting pretty... He's dead at this point. The camera stopped tracking him. He's dead. He's broken into meat. So there you go. Looks like the age is working so far, but you can see he's like generated a ton of babies, which is ridiculously high at this point. So I need to change that quite a bit, but at least the age seems to be working. And I could, if he starts out with less energy and a lower max energy, then he's going to die more quickly as he gets close to max age and past it. It seems to be working. So that's how I implemented that. Rather than saying if it hits the max age, it dies, I'm using the age and the proximity to the max age to kill it by just making it use more energy. So I didn't need to create a new kill script or anything like that for old age, just by affecting the energy. So that's it for now.